Mace Windu orders Anakin Skywalker to stay in the council chambers as he departs to confront Chancellor Palpatine. Anakin, his mind racing with fear and frustration, paces back and forth in the dimly lit room. Thoughts of Padme and the premonitions of her death claw at his resolve. Palpatine's seductive promises of power and salvation echo in his mind, tempting him to act, but Anakin clenches his fist and forces himself to stay. His internal struggle becomes an invisible war, one that tests every ounce of his self-control. In the quiet solitude of the chamber, Anakin wrestles with his emotions. Memories of past losses flash before his eyes. His mother's death, the chaos of the Clone Wars, and the helplessness he feels in the face of Padme's unknown fate. Palpatine's words, laced with temptation, call to him like a siren's song, but Anakin shuts his eyes and draws upon the Jedi teachings of patience and restraint. For once, he chooses to wait. Hours pass before Mace Windu returns to the temple, his face lined with exhaustion. He recounts the confrontation with Palpatine, revealing that the Sith Lord was subdued but managed to escape. Though alive, Palpatine's identity as Darth Sidious is now exposed, and the Jedi Order stands on the brink of war. Anakin listens intently, a mix of relief and unease washing over him. The Council, though cautious, begins to see the weight of Anakin's internal battle. His choice to remain in the chamber both alarms and impresses them. It's clear that Palpatine's influence over him runs deep, but for now, Anakin has chosen the Jedi path. Alone in his quarters later that night, Anakin reflects on the decision he made, the doubts he carries, and the role he must now play in the uncertain future of the galaxy. The Jedi Order mobilizes in the aftermath of Palpatine's exposure, tightening security around the temple and preparing for the inevitable retaliation. Suspicion begins to fester within the Council, directed toward Anakin. His close relationship with Palpatine, once viewed as an asset, is now a cause for concern. Whispers of doubt ripple through the ranks of the Jedi, and Anakin feels their eyes on him wherever he goes. Their mistrust stings, deepening his feelings of alienation. Anakin confides in Padme during their stolen moments together. His frustration spills out as he speaks of the Jedi's suspicion and his growing resentment toward their rigid doctrines. Padme listens, her concern etched into her face. She pleads with him to focus on what truly matters: his integrity, his love for her, and the greater good of the Republic. She warns him of the dangers of unchecked power, her voice trembling with worry. But while her words are wise, they clash with the storm of emotions brewing inside him. Sensing the turmoil consuming Anakin, Yoda steps in, offering his guidance. He invites Anakin to meditate, to face the fears that bind him. At first, Anakin resists, unwilling to confront the shadows lurking in his mind. But Yoda's patience wears down his defenses, and Anakin begins to open himself to the process. In these meditative sessions, he relives the moments that define his pain: the loss of his mother, the horrors of war, and the haunting visions of Padme's death. During one pivotal meditation, Anakin envisions a chasm separating him from the people and ideals he holds dear. On one side stands Padme, her arms outstretched, while on the other, the Jedi Order radiates with light. The distance between them feels insurmountable until Anakin realizes the answer lies within himself. He imagines a bridge forming, a connection between both sides that reflects the balance he desperately seeks. Emerging from the meditation, Anakin feels a flicker of clarity for the first time in what feels like years. Despite his progress, the darkness outside the temple grows. Palpatine, though absent from the public eye, manipulates events from the shadows. Through proxies and propaganda, he paints the Jedi as conspirators attempting to overthrow the Republic. Senators waver in their loyalty, and the galaxy teeters on the edge of chaos. Anakin feels the weight of this conflict pressing down on him. The Jedi, suspicious of his every move, isolate him further, while Palpatine's unseen hand pushes the galaxy closer to war. Anakin stands at a crossroads, struggling to reconcile his loyalty to the Order, his love for Padme, and his place within a galaxy descending into darkness. The Jedi Temple buzzes with an unshakable tension as reports of Palpatine's next moves begin to reach the Council. The once revered Chancellor of the Republic has gone into hiding, using his vast influence to sow discord across the galaxy. Through veiled proclamations and planted stories, Palpatine brands the Jedi as enemies of the Republic, accusing them of orchestrating a coup. Senators once loyal to the Order grow silent or openly question their intentions. The Republic's faith in the Jedi begins to crumble. As the Jedi scramble to form a response, Palpatine moves decisively. Secret orders are issued to clone commanders across the galaxy, setting the stage for a devastating betrayal. The Jedi Council suspects a coming storm but cannot predict its precise nature. Anakin, newly resolute in his allegiance to the Jedi, works alongside Obi-Wan and Ahsoka to fortify the temple's defenses. Though still plagued by moments of doubt, his recent training with Yoda has instilled in him a fragile but growing sense of inner calm. Then it happens. Under the guise of protecting the Republic, clone forces, once trusted allies, turn their weapons against the Jedi. The first wave of attacks strikes at Outer Rim Jedi outposts, cutting off communication with the Temple. Fear and confusion ripple through the Order as the scale of Palpatine's plan becomes evident. Within hours, the clones march on Coruscant, their sights set on the Jedi Temple itself. Anakin stands at the temple gates, lightsaber ignited, flanked by Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and a small contingent of Jedi Knights. The once serene grounds of the temple are engulfed in chaos as the clones launch their assault. Blaster bolts light up the darkened sky, and the air reverberates with the hum of lightsabers and the cries of battle. Inside the temple, the younger Jedi, Padawans and their instructors rally to protect the archives and the sacred chambers. Anakin fights with a renewed purpose, his every move calculated and precise. This is not the reckless warrior of the Clone Wars, but a man tempered by reflection and strengthened by clarity. He cuts through waves of clones, his focus unwavering. In the thick of the battle, Anakin comes face to face with Commander Cody, his former comrade, and a man he once trusted implicitly. Cody raises his blaster, hesitation flickering in his eyes for a brief moment before duty overrides doubt. Anakin deflects the shot and disarms him, his voice trembling with both anger and sorrow as he demands to know why Cody betrayed them. The commander, bound by Palpatine's programming, struggles to respond but ultimately charges at Anakin. In the heat of their confrontation, Anakin sees not only the immediate battle but the deeper truth of Palpatine's manipulation. Cody, like so many others, is a pawn in a far greater game. Anakin spares his life, knocking him unconscious rather than delivering a fatal blow. This act of mercy solidifies Anakin's transformation. He understands now that strength is not in domination or destruction, but in restraint and compassion. The battle rages on for hours, with heavy losses on both sides. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka fight valiantly, their bonds with Anakin unshaken despite the challenges they face. Together, they lead the Jedi in defending the temple, forcing the clone forces to retreat temporarily. Though the temple stands, the Jedi know the victory is bittersweet. Their numbers are diminished, and the galaxy has turned against them. In the aftermath of the attack, the surviving Jedi convene in the temple's battered council chamber. The once strong walls feel suffocatingly quiet as they assess the extent of the damage. Yoda, his voice heavy with sorrow, declares that the Jedi must adapt to survive. Their rigid adherence to tradition, he admits, has left them vulnerable to Palpatine's cunning. Anakin, standing among the council members, speaks for the first time with a clear sense of purpose. He urges the Jedi to rethink their approach, to embrace the complexities of the Force, rather than clinging to outdated dogma. His words carry a weight they hadn't before, as his actions during the battle have proven his growth and dedication. As the Jedi prepare for the next phase of their fight, Anakin feels a quiet resolve settle over him. The battle for the temple is just the beginning. Palpatine is still out there, and the galaxy remains in chaos. But for the first time in a long time, Anakin feels certain of his path. He is no longer a pawn caught between light and dark, but a Jedi who understands that balance is the key to defeating the darkness threatening the galaxy. The Jedi Temple still smolders from the recent assault, its halls eerily quiet, except for the whispers of survivors and the hum of faint repairs. Though the temple remains intact, the Jedi Order is fractured, its remaining members struggling to comprehend the magnitude of the betrayal they've endured. Anakin, standing among the ruins, feels the weight of his decisions more than ever. He reflects on how close he came to losing himself to the darkness. Each step he takes through the damaged halls is a reminder of the lives lost and the stakes that remain. Meanwhile, Palpatine continues his campaign of manipulation from the shadows. Through carefully crafted messages, he frames the Jedi as dangerous rebels attempting to seize control of the Republic. His power grows unchecked as he consolidates his rule, rallying loyalist forces and turning the Senate further against the Jedi. Amid the chaos, he reaches out to Anakin one final time, desperate to exploit the young Jedi's lingering fears. Anakin is alone in one of the temple's meditation chambers when Palpatine's message reaches him. The hologram flickers to life, and the Sith Lord's voice is as smooth and persuasive as ever. Palpatine offers him one last chance, playing on his deepest fears, the fear of losing Padme. the fear of being powerless in the face of destiny. He promises Anakin the knowledge to save her, to end the war, and to bring peace to the galaxy. But this time, Anakin is prepared. The weeks of guidance from Yoda and the trials he has endured have taught him the truth, that the path to peace cannot be built on manipulation and control. He rejects Palpatine's offer, his voice steady and firm, even as the Sith Lord's words cut at his deepest insecurities. Palpatine's hologram fades, but his parting words linger in Anakin's mind. You may resist me, but the galaxy will not. They will never see you as a hero, only as another pawn of a failing order. Shaken but resolute, Anakin turns to Padme. He confesses everything to her, his fears, his struggles, his moments of doubt. He tells her about Palpatine's offer and his decision to refuse it. For the first time, he allows himself to be completely vulnerable, shedding the layers of pride and control he once held so tightly. Padme listens intently, her gaze filled with both love and sadness. She tells him that true strength lies not in the power to control others, but in the courage to face one's own fears and let go. This conversation becomes a turning point for Anakin. Padme's unwavering faith in him reinforces the lessons he has learned. He begins to understand that his attachment to her, while born from love, does not have to be a source of fear or weakness. Instead, it can be a foundation for hope and resilience. With renewed determination, Anakin approaches the Jedi Council. The room is still tense from the recent conflicts, but Anakin's presence commands attention. He proposes a bold plan. Instead of retreating into isolation, the Jedi must strike back at Palpatine's regime with precision and unity. He emphasizes that their fight must be guided by the principles of compassion and justice, not revenge. The Council, though hesitant, sees the wisdom in Anakin's words. Yoda in particular notes the change in Anakin's demeanor. The fear and anger that once clouded him are gone, replaced by clarity and purpose. The Jedi rally their remaining forces, coordinating with rebel sympathizers within the Senate and across the galaxy. In a series of daring strikes, Anakin leads the Jedi in dismantling Palpatine's network of loyalist operatives. Each mission tests his resolve. As he faces remnants of his past, the soldiers he once commanded, allies turned enemies, and the ghosts of his own choices. Yet, through it all, Anakin remains steadfast. The final blow comes when Anakin uncovers Palpatine's hidden stronghold on Coruscant. Alongside Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and a battalion of loyal Jedi, he infiltrates the fortress. The battle is fierce, with Palpatine unleashing his full power to defend himself. In the climactic confrontation, Anakin faces Palpatine directly. The Sith Lord taunts him, trying to reignite the fears that once consumed him. But Anakin, grounded in the lessons he has learned, remains calm. Their duel is not just a clash of lightsabers, but a battle of wills, Palpatine's manipulative cunning against Anakin's newfound inner peace. As the fight reaches its peak, Anakin finally overcomes Palpatine, not through sheer power, but through restraint and understanding. He resists the urge to strike the killing blow, instead subduing the Sith Lord with the help of his fellow Jedi. Palpatine is captured, his plans undone by the very person he sought to corrupt. With the Sith Lord in custody, Anakin feels a profound sense of relief. He has not only saved the galaxy from Palpatine's grasp, but also redeemed himself, proving that even in the face of darkness, one can choose the light. The galaxy begins to breathe again, though the scars of war are visible everywhere. Coruscant, once a gleaming beacon of civilization, bears the weight of the recent conflict. Buildings are charred, streets are littered with debris, and the populace moves cautiously, uncertain of what comes next. Yet, for the first time in years, there is a glimmer of hope, a quiet optimism that the tide of tyranny has turned. Anakin Skywalker stands amidst the ruins of the Jedi Temple, gazing at the faint dawn light breaking over the horizon. The temple has been both a battlefield and a sanctuary, and now it feels like both a graveyard and a birthplace. He reflects on the journey that brought him here, his choices, his struggles, and the profound lessons he has learned. For the first time in his life, he feels truly at peace. The Jedi Council convenes in a partially restored chamber, the air heavy with both sorrow and determination. Yoda, his voice softer than usual, acknowledges the toll the war has taken on the Order. Yet, he also sees an opportunity, a chance to rebuild, not just structurally, but philosophically. He addresses the Council and the gathered Jedi, urging them to reconsider the rigid dogma that contributed to their vulnerabilities. Much we have lost, but much we have learned, Yoda says, his words resonating deeply with everyone in the room. He emphasizes that the Jedi must evolve, embracing balance and understanding rather than rigid detachment. He points to Anakin as a living example of this transformation, a Jedi who has faced his fears, his attachments, and the darkness within, emerging stronger and wiser. Anakin speaks next, his voice steady but filled with emotion. He shares his journey openly, recounting his fears of loss, his temptations, and his ultimate realization that true strength lies in compassion and letting go. He proposes a vision for the Jedi Order, one that values emotional awareness and the acceptance of both light and dark as natural aspects of the Force. His words inspire those present, igniting a sense of purpose among the remaining Jedi. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the defeat of Palpatine sends shockwaves through the Senate and the remnants of the Empire. With their leader captured, the Empire's loyalists scramble to retain control. Bail Organa and Mon Mothma, prominent leaders of the rebel movement, seize the opportunity to rally support for a new republic. They reach out to the Jedi, recognizing their crucial role in restoring balance and justice. Anakin, Padme, and Obi-Wan take center stage in these efforts. Padme, drawing on her diplomatic experience, works tirelessly to rebuild trust between the fractured worlds of the galaxy. Her speeches in the Senate are powerful, reminding the galaxy of the ideals of democracy and unity that once defined the Republic. Obi-Wan serves as a steadying presence, guiding both the Jedi and the Republic with his wisdom and calm demeanor. Anakin, now a symbol of redemption and resilience, leads efforts to dismantle the remaining Imperial forces. In a series of coordinated missions, he works alongside the Jedi and Rebel forces to liberate enslaved systems and bring warlords to justice. His leadership is marked not by his power, but by his empathy and understanding, qualities that inspire those who follow him. The final confrontation with Palpatine comes in a Senate tribunal. The once mighty Sith Lord, now weakened and imprisoned, faces charges for his crimes against the galaxy. His trial is both a moment of closure and a testament to the Republic's commitment to justice. Anakin stands as a witness, his testimony a powerful reminder of how close the galaxy came to losing itself to fear and hatred. In the wake of the trial, the Jedi Order begins its transformation. The code is rewritten, emphasizing balance, compassion, and the value of connection. Younglings are taught not to suppress their emotions, but to understand and channel them. The Jedi no longer isolate themselves from the galaxy, but actively engage with its people, serving as mediators, healers, and protectors. Anakin becomes a central figure in this new order. Though he declines a seat on the Council, he dedicates himself to mentoring the next generation of Jedi. His experiences make him a compassionate and relatable teacher, one who understands the struggles of fear and temptation. Ahsoka too returns to the fold, her journey bringing a fresh perspective to the evolving order. Together, they help guide the Jedi into a new era. In the final moments, Anakin stands with Padme on the balcony of their home, overlooking the vibrant lights of Coruscant. The city is healing, its people beginning to rebuild their lives. Padme places a hand on Anakin's shoulder, and he turns to her with a serene smile. "The galaxy isn't perfect," Padme says, her voice filled with quiet determination. "No," Anakin replies, his gaze steady, "but it's worth fighting for."
Until next time, remember, each story is but a spark in a galaxy full of endless possibilities. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned, and may the Force be with you always.